My name is Alex. I am 35 years old and I am a senior engineer in a technology company. I would like to share with you my love story and how I experienced betrayal in my marriage and walked away from it. Lily and I met in high school. We were both on the school's soccer team, me as a forward and her as a cheerleader. We started talking at a celebration party and realized we had a lot in common. We both love sports, watching movies and dreaming of traveling the world someday. From there, we started dating, and I was quickly attracted to Lily because she was beautiful, smart, and fun. We worked well together on the court and were inseparable in life. We participated in club activities, prepared for exams, and planned for the future together. On the day of the graduation ball, I confessed my love to Lily and she agreed to be my girlfriend. In our 4 years of college, we went to different schools, but our relationship remained stable. We insisted on seeing each other every week and knew each other's lives very well. After graduation, we both stayed in the same city to work and began to prepare for our future married life. We looked at houses together, discussed decorating styles, and envisioned what our future baby would look like. 3 years ago, we got married and had a romantic seaside wedding. Our friends and family witnessed our union and wished us a long life together. We moved into the new house we had longed for and began our sweet world. I am fully committed to this marriage and hope to give Lily a happy and fulfilling home. But married life is not always easy. The pressure of work and life began to make us tired. Each other inevitably have a quarrel. I began to notice some changes in Lily, but I didn't realize that a betrayal, which I couldn't bear, was quietly taking place. We met in the youthful high school years, through the 4 years of college long-distance test, and ultimately to the fruit into the marriage hall. I thought our love and marriage would last forever, but fate played a big joke on me. Next, let me slowly say, this betrayal of my process and my response. For the first year of our marriage, Lily and I lived a fairly harmonious life. We would go to the supermarket together, cook in the kitchen, go for a walk in the park, or watch a movie on weekends. But gradually, I began to notice some changes. Lily started working late more often and often came home late. We used to tell each other in advance why we were late, but now she doesn't explain. Sometimes when I called her, she wouldn't answer the phone and would just say she was in a meeting when she got home. We used to have regular dinners a couple of times a week to discuss our lives and work, but those times are becoming less and less frequent. Lily also stopped talking to me. We used to share interesting stories and talk about new movies and books, but now she always says she's tired and wants to rest early. When she lies in bed at night, she just swipes her cell phone and responds perfunctorily when I start a conversation. I began to feel uneasy and confused. We used to talk about everything, but now we were like strangers. I tried to communicate with Lily, asking her if she was in trouble or if I had done something wrong. But she always said it was fine and told me not to think too much. But how could I not think about it? The closeness and trust between us was disappearing little by little. I began to reflect on myself. Was it because I relaxed my care and attention to Lily after marriage? Was it because I put too much emphasis on my work and neglected her? I tried to recall every detail of our relationship and marriage, hoping to find the answer to the question. I think back to when we first met. We would text each other good morning and good night every day, sharing our moods and insights. Then we went to college and had a long-distance relationship, and every weekend we would talk to each other for an hour on the video phone, telling us about the week's life. After we got married, we were inseparable, cooking together, decorating the new house together, making plans for the honeymoon together. With all the memories flooding back, I realized that it had been a long time since Lily and I had talked to each other like we used to. We both invested our time and energy in work and socializing and gradually neglected to care about each other. I thought it was just a teething stage of newlywed life, but things didn't seem so simple. I began to pay more attention to Lily's behavior and words, trying to find out why she had changed. I noticed that she often came home in the middle of the night and didn't want to go out with me on weekends, always citing work as an excuse. She avoided me when she answered the phone, covered up when she looked at her cell phone, and always locked her computer with a password. All kinds of clues let me have a terrible suspicion. Could Lily have an affair? The thought was like a boulder in my heart. I couldn't believe it, and I didn't want to think about it. I told myself not to think about it, that Lily would not betray our marriage. But the inner anxiety and confusion is getting stronger and stronger. I know, I have to find out the truth, even if the truth may make me unbearable. Lily's changes made me more and more uneasy, and I decided to find out what was going on. At first, I only checked her cell phone and computer occasionally to see if there were any suspicious traces. But her devices were password protected, so I couldn't access any information. Then I began to pay attention to how Lily reacted when she answered the phone. A couple of times, when I walked into the room, she hung up in a hurry and pretended to be reading a document. When I asked her who she was talking to, she said vaguely that it was a coworker, discussing something at work. But I had a vague feeling that she was lying. Her eyes flickered and her tone was unnatural. Lily's late nights also made me suspicious. She always said that she had to work overtime and that the project was very tight. But when I called her company, the receptionist said that she had left work a long time ago. Once I went to pick her up from work to surprise her, but she didn't show up even after waiting for an hour and didn't answer her phone. She came home and explained that she had a meeting, but I always felt that she was not telling the truth. I started looking for clues in Lily's purse and on her desk. One morning, when she was taking a shower, I secretly checked her wallet and found a hotel room card inside. My heart was instantly cold. My mind flashed through countless thoughts. Why did she need a room? With whom? Is it a business trip or a rendezvous? I felt a dizzy, cold hands and feet. I held my emotions in check, put the card back in its place, and acted as if nothing had happened. I told myself that maybe it was just a coincidence. Maybe Lily had just stayed at the hotel on a business trip. I couldn't suspect my wife on the basis of a room card. I needed more evidence. I started looking for clues on Lily's social network. I went through her friends' circles and found that she had been interacting with a male colleague named Eric a lot lately. She often liked and commented on Eric's posts, and their tone of voice was unusually close. I searched Eric's background and found out that he is an executive of Lily's company, handsome, rich, and from a good family. My heart rises a jealousy. Is this man hooked my wife's heart? I began to call Lily frequently to find out where she was and what she was doing, but she often refused to answer, saying she was in a meeting or that she was working late. Sometimes when she picked up the phone, there was loud music in the background, and she sounded like she was at a bar or nightclub. When I asked her where she was, she fumbled and said she was with a client. I am more and more convinced that Lily is lying. She must be hiding something from me. The hotel room card, frequent late returns, suspicious phone calls, and Eric's ambiguous interactions. Every detail is telling me that my wife probably has another man outside. I was bitter and angry, but there was nothing I could do. I needed hard evidence of her infidelity. I knew I would be devastated when the truth came out, but I had no choice. I had to get to the bottom of it. In the days that followed, I began to formulate a plan of investigation, hoping to find the truth, even if the truth was so cruel that I could not bear it. I decided to find out the truth, and I couldn't be kept in the dark any longer. I took a day off from work and installed surveillance software at home to view Lily's cell phone and computer remotely. I know it's unethical and violates her privacy, but I had no other choice. I needed proof, even if the truth might break me. First, I checked Lily's phone records and text messages. I found out that she was in contact with the male colleague named Eric almost every day, and the calls could last for hours. I carefully looked through their chat records, which were full of evidence that made my heart ache. They call each other with intimate nicknames. Eric tube Lily called baby, sweetheart. Lily called Eric husband, darling. They chat work, chat gossip, chat life trivia, tone ambiguous, words outside the flavor of flirting. Eric will give Lily sin breakfast. Lily will give Eric to buy gifts. They are thinking about each other all the time. Lily never mentioned a word of this to me. I clicked on the photo gallery in Lily's cell phone, and there were many photos of Lily and Eric together in the album. The backgrounds of the photos were varied, from high-end restaurants to intimate theaters to art exhibitions to luxury hotels. In the photos, some of them are holding each other's fingers, some of them are rubbing their ears, some of them are kissing each other's lips, and their gestures are intimate and they're making love to each other. In the photos, Lily is glowing, her eyes glittering with happiness and fulfillment. It was a woman in love, a woman nourished by love. She never looked like that in our photos. I looked through the photos one by one and felt 1,000 arrows piercing through my heart. I took screenshots of the photos and saved them to several different cloud drives in case Lily found them and deleted them. I also copied all those explicit chatting records, and together with the call records, I organized them into a spreadsheet, listing all their intimate interactions in different categories. That day, I sat in front of the computer for the whole day, fearing that I would miss any clues. But this is not enough. I need more solid evidence. I found a private detective agency through an acquaintance and asked them to help me track Lily and Eric. And after asking about my concerns, the detectives formulated a detailed investigation plan. They first went to Lily's company near the squatting. In Eric's car installed GPS to monitor his whereabouts. As expected, Eric often drove Lily to and from work, and the two of them went to the golf course, the gym, and even bars and nightclubs together. The detectives also accessed the security footage from the restaurants and hotels they frequented and captured them on dates and in rooms. Those videos made me completely heartbroken. It turned out that on the days Lily told me she was working overtime, she was having fun with Eric and enjoying themselves. The days the detectives arranged to follow her were just in time for Valentine's Day. They caught Lily and Eric in a couples-themed hotel suite, staying there from early evening until the next morning. I can't imagine what they did that night. Just thinking about it makes me sick to my stomach. The detectives also took DNA samples from the hotel linens and the bathroom, and the test confirmed that they belonged to Lily and Eric. They wrote me a thorough investigation report with tons of photos and video evidence. I printed out the evidence and packed it in 2 boxes, along with the electronic version for safekeeping. I spent nearly $10,000 on this evidence alone, almost wiping out my savings. But I have no regrets. I want to use this evidence to expose Lily's betrayal and to defend my dignity. I organized all the evidence into documents, cataloged and dated them, and then burned them onto CDs and saved several backups. I even went to a lawyer for advice on how this evidence would help me in my future divorce proceedings. The lawyer said, with these solid evidence of cheating, I can take the initiative in the divorce proceedings, not only can be exempted from the clean house, but also can ask for moral damages. After gathering all this evidence, I calmed down. I was no longer as hysterical as before, wanting to find Lily and Eric to fight, but calmly formulated a plan to deal with. I knew that what I wanted to do was not only to divorce Lily, but also to protect my own interests and dignity as much as possible in the process. I want Lily to know that her betrayal, her deception, are to pay the price. I will not let her easily destroy my life. With all that hard evidence of cheating, I knew it was time to make a statement to Lily and Eric. But I do not want to rush into action. I want to take the initiative in their own hands in this confrontation. I and the private detective discussed a well-thought-out plan. Be sure to make them convinced. No way to deny. First of all, I have organized all kinds of evidence of their cheating into a complete file, including ambiguous photos, explicit text messages, room records, and even their private meeting recordings. I burned the evidence into a CD-ROM, printed into a file, and made a number of backups. I plan to find an appropriate time, face-to-face to these iron evidence in front of them, to see how they can still be sophistry. I also found contact information for Eric's wife, Sophia. I sent the evidence of Eric's infidelity to Sophia anonymously to let her know the truth. I knew that once Sophia found out the truth, she would come to question Lily first, and I would show up at the right time to expose their infidelity with Sophia and make them taste the bitter fruits of betrayal. In order not to alert the police, I pretended that nothing had happened and went about my daily life as usual. I even asked Lily out to dinner and a movie on purpose to make her think that our relationship was the same as usual, and Lily seemed to have let her guard down and gradually reduced her contact with Eric. I laughed in my heart. She probably thought that she was too naive to think that I wouldn't find out about what she was doing. Finally, on a Friday night, it all came together. I lied that I had to work late and let Lily go home first. I hid in the parking lot of the company, witnessed Lily smiling on Eric's car. The two were entwined in the drive to a hotel in the suburbs. I followed closely behind and stood by the door of the hotel until midnight, when I saw them hand in hand. Just as they were about to get into the car, a woman rushed out and blocked their way, and it was Eric's wife, Sophia. It was Eric's wife, Sophia, who screamed and slapped Lily across the face, hysterically questioning her about seducing her husband, who covered his face, unable to speak. as Eric scrambled to explain their innocence. At that moment, I stepped out of the shadows and stood side by side with Sophia. I looked coldly at Lily, who was as colorful as dirt, and threw the shocking pile of cheating evidence in her face. I asked her how she could explain the intimate photos, the explicit text messages, the hotel room records, and the recordings of the private meetings. Faced with hard evidence, Lily trembled and couldn't speak in complete sentences. She stammered her defense, saying that it was all for work and that I had misunderstood her. Eric also chimed in, denying that they were having an affair. But when I pressed the play button on my cell phone, their entwined and sentimental voice instantly echoed in the silent night. They no longer have words to argue. Sophia and I both chastised them in unison for playing with their feelings between two families, betraying their marriage, and being scum of the earth. Passers-by were pointing and talking, and Lily and Eric couldn't show their faces in front of everyone. I coldly told Lily that I was completely disappointed with the marriage and decided to divorce her. I had given all the evidence to my attorney, so if she wanted to be less disadvantaged in the divorce proceedings, she had better cooperate. I also told Eric that he'd better come clean with Sophia too, or else the evidence I had would be made public at any time. I accused them. I gave everything to this marriage, and all I got in return was their deception. I was so blind to see the wrong person. I left without looking back, leaving Lily crying hysterically behind me. I ignored their arguments, because at that moment, I felt a sense of relief. I knew that I had finally broken the chains of betrayal and regained my freedom. Next, I will use legal means to defend my dignity. In the divorce lawsuit, I will never give in to compromise. They must pay for what they have done. After publicly exposing Lily and Eric's infidelity in the parking lot, I was determined to divorce Lily. I consulted an attorney and learned that our situation was a fault-based divorce. According to U.S. law, if one party is at fault for infidelity, domestic violence, abandonment, etc., the other party can file for divorce on that basis and is entitled to more rights and benefits. With solid evidence of Lily's infidelity, I had the upper hand. Those intimate photos, explicit text messages, rooming records, and cheating recordings are all proof of Lily's betrayal of me. My lawyer told me that I could ask the judge to rule that Lily was at fault, which meant that I would get more benefits in terms of property division, child support, and alimony. Without hesitation, I filed a petition for divorce, attaching all the evidence of my infidelity. In the divorce proceeding, our attorney presented an exhaustive list of Lily's faulty behavior. He produced intimate photos of Lily and Eric on various occasions, hotel room records, full of explicit and provocative text messages between the two, and even played a recording of their rendezvous in the hotel. In the face of such ironclad evidence, Lily was unable to defend herself, and the judge found that she was at fault. In the end, the judge awarded me 80% of the community property. This meant that I got our $3 million condo, $1.5 million in investment accounts, $150,000 in luxury cars, and about $300,000 in other assets. Lily, on the other hand, received only a few loose cash and personal items. She paid dearly for her infidelity. In addition to the property damage, Lily suffered other tragic consequences. When our mutual friends learned the truth, they all reviled her betrayal. Our college friend Mary publicly denounced Lily as the bitch who ruined a good man and called on everyone to cut her off. Our weekend barbecue group expelled Lily from the group chat, and Lily's reputation in the company hit rock bottom, with her co-workers talking about her and her bosses shunning her. Eventually, she had to leave the company and leave the city. And Eric wasn't immune. His wife, Sophia, was furious when she discovered his infidelity after I alerted her to it. Not only did she immediately file for divorce, but she also went through the courts to obtain all of their joint assets, including their oceanfront home in Seattle and their vacation condo in Hawaii. Sophia also filed for alimony of up to $50,000 a month, and Eric was fired on the spot for seducing a subordinate in the course of his duties, and his reputation was destroyed overnight. Not only did he lose his marriage and his job, but he was also left with a huge financial debt. After winning the divorce case, I took back control of my life. I decided to redecorate our love nest and erase all memories of Lily. I threw out all the furniture that we had handpicked together and replaced it with brand new sofas, dining tables, and beds. I pulled out Lily's favorite purple and red curtains and rugs and replaced them with a calm gray color. I also repainted the walls, replacing Lily's favorite orange color with a light beige color. Even in the yard, I removed the roses and lilies Lily planted and replaced them with my favorite green grass and palms. I wanted to put the pain behind me and embrace a new life. I packed up all of Lily's personal belongings and sent them back to her. Her favorite designer bags, limited edition lipsticks, custom-made perfumes, the Tiffany jewelry and Tiffany necklaces I gave her, everything. I even sent her favorite copy of Van Gogh's Starry Night along with it, never wanting to leave anything related to her. I destroyed all of our pictures, our marriage license, our honeymoon albums, and burned them all, along with the painful memories. I severed the past and looked forward to a brighter future. When the renovation was completed, I invited my friends and family to the housewarming party. I smiled from the bottom of my heart as they marveled at the newness of my home. As they toasted me and wished me a fresh start, I felt a sense of relief and joy that I had never felt before. After the dust of my divorce settled, I began to rebuild my life. I knew that it would take time and effort to move on from the pain of the past. I decided to start with my work and my life, and to take my life back one step at a time. I went back to work and focused all my energy on my software development project. I worked overtime, all night long, and wrote code with great dedication. My hard work paid off. My project was highly recognized by the company and favored by important customers. As a result, I was promoted and became one of the youngest senior engineers in the company. The sense of achievement at work has given me back my confidence, and I feel that I am getting back the ability to control my life a little bit. In addition to my work, I started to develop new hobbies and try things I had never tried before. I enrolled in a photography class to learn how to capture the beauty of the world with my camera. Every weekend, I would go to the park, the beach, the mountains, and forests to record the scenery of nature with my camera. Gradually, photography became a way for me to vent my emotions and express myself. I also joined a mountaineering club and started to challenge some high-altitude peaks. Whenever I stood on the top of a mountain and looked down on the scenery below, I would feel a kind of freedom and open-mindedness. The process of climbing makes me realize that no difficulty is invincible. As long as I have persistence and perseverance, I can climb any peak. I also started to share my life with friends and family more often. I took the initiative to ask my friends out for dinners, movies, and ball games, and slowly rebuilt my social circle. I often flew back to my hometown to spend time with my elderly parents, listening to their stories of the past and helping them with household chores. I felt the warmth and love that I had not felt for a long time in my interactions with my friends and relatives, which made me realize that even if I had lost love, I still had precious family and friendship, and there was still unlimited hope for my life. Gradually, I've moved on from the past. Although I still think of Lily and the good times we had at certain moments, I no longer feel the pain that tore my heart and lungs apart. I've learned to accept that there are inevitable gains and losses in life, and that the end of love doesn't mean the end of life. I realized that I needed to move on, to embrace the future, to create new possibilities. I have now fully recovered from this traumatic experience. I have a career that makes me feel proud and satisfied, several hobbies that make me feel happy and rich, and a group of friends and family that make me feel warm and supportive. I have found meaning and direction in my life, and I can confidently say that I have moved on from that terrible past. Today, I share this story because I hope to give some inspiration and encouragement to those who have similar experiences. I want to tell you, no matter what kind of betrayal and hurt you have experienced, no matter how much pain and despair you feel at this moment, please believe that as long as you are willing to work hard and persevere, you will be able to get out of the haze and usher in a brand new life. Don't be bound by the past, don't be defined by the pain, because your life shouldn't be swayed by other people's mistakes. Take a brave step to rebuild your life and pursue your happiness. Believe that no matter how twisted the road may be, there will be light ahead. Just like me, you will overcome the difficulties and have a wonderful life of your own. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a story to share about your own or someone else's experience, please feel free to contact me. Take care.